What is up, fragrance family out there on YouTube land? Thanks for joining me here on my channel, Steven Sturgill. I'll be your host for the next couple minutes, probably several. Let's get into it, guys. I already gave a shout out to what we're covering here today. It's going to be talking about Hermes, Terre d'Hermes, Eau de Vetiver Intense. I hope I said that right. Is that the right name? Oh, Eau Intense Vetiver. Okay. And I got this sample decant off Surrender to Chance online, a very trusted source of fabulous samples and decants. I don't know if the camera can get that or not. Ugh. Come on, guy. There we go. Finally. Okay. Anyways, this bad boy dropped in 2018. That is this year, but it dropped, I think, at the very beginning of the year. So it's been nearly a year that it's been out on the market. Nose on this, I had been saying Nagel, which is the French pronunciation, but I found out recently she was actually born in Switzerland, so she's Swiss, which might talk French. I'm sure she does, but she probably also talks German. And her last name actually is probably German, as because in Germany there's a lot of those Nagel last names, which is pronounced something like Nagel. Nagel. I sorry if I minced that, but that's as close as I'm going to get with very little practice. So I don't think it's Nagel, but if anyone knows her and if you can right the wrong, then I'm all open to suggestion. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the scent. Before we get into the scent, I do want to let's talk about the original Terre d'Hermes, right? All-time classic. One of the greatest scents, in my humble opinion, ever in the history of perfumery. A thundering, magnificent masterpiece. I believe created obviously by Jean-Claude Ellena from Grasse, France. And if I'm not mistaken, I had both the EDT and the Eau de Parfum concentration. And to me, they're almost identical. I will say that a lot of people online are claiming that there's very little bitter orange in the perfume concentration as compared to the EDT. In fairness, I didn't use them back to back, nor did I sample them side by side, so my memory could very much be skewed. One thing that definitely stood out to me, though, was that while the EDT certainly has excellent performance, like the zero complaints, the perfume concentration version, or the EDP, Eau de Parfum, had significantly slightly, well, it had better performance, let's just say it that way. It had even better sillage. Hello, Carlos. Hola, ¿qué tal? By the way, I saw your video review recently, and I meant to give you a shout out to that. I did give a shout out to Chad. That was way cool seeing you on Chad's channel, giving a review. Much love, hermano. And keep it up, man. And you need to drop some more reviews out there and get your channel going. At any rate, we're talking about Intense Vetiver from the House of Hermes. And I was also briefly talking about the intro, the original frag, Terre d'Hermes. So I do think that, okay, there's not a lot of difference between the EDP and the EDT, in my humble opinion, except that the EDP, you're going to get better sillage and better longevity. Not a whole lot of other differences, except some tiny, tiny nuances between those fragrances. But if your wallet's hurting too bad, obviously just stick with EDT. You're not going to complain, that's for sure. Okay, but why do I bring that up? I bring that up for a couple of reasons. One, how much of the DNA of the original is present here? Not a whole lot. I would say maybe about outer limit 4 to 5%. And I mean, if I'm just totally wrong and my math's all wrong, maybe 10%. The other 90% is entirely all new, in an entirely different direction. Really just an entirely different scent and perfume. So yes, I think some of the DNA is detectable, but I don't think it's anywhere to the extent of how a lot of for example, I don't know if any of you guys out there use a House of Amouage, like Reflection Man and Interlude Man and what's the other one? The something about like Beach Hut or something. I find that a lot of the Amouage fragrances, it's very much the DNA is very clear and obvious. But I think that here, I mean, they're all very different scents. Don't get me wrong, but it's obvious that they are Amouage scents, if that makes sense. Here, I wouldn't be surprised if someone used the Terre d'Hermes Intense Vetiver and didn't know that it was from this house because it just smells very, very different from the original. But that's fine. I mean, I think that's probably a better choice than having a flanker that smells too much like the original. Except maybe if you're doing an aquatic freshening, you kind of want some of those delicious notes to come through from the original. Well, then that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go, obviously, in the fragrance community. We all have different takes and opinions and preferences as far as that goes. But let's get into the notes before I just ramble on too much, and we can go from there. Okay, so this dropped again early in 2018 this year. Has a good rating on Fragrantica or Fragrantica. Not Interstellar Galactic, but it has a very decent rating. Again, Christine Nagel, I think that's the correct pronunciation. I think she's of Germanic origin, but grew up in Switzerland, or born there at any rate. Okay, obviously, guys, this is a vetiver scent, so you're going to get your vetiver, your Szechuan pepper. You're going to get some citrus in the opening, which I quite like. So it's got elements of a freshy, sort of herbaceous, almost slightly lightly aquatic. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but whatever. You're going to get some type of, I think, bergamot. And what else? Geranium, lemon and grapefruit, and olibanum, amberwood, and it's believed that there's a little bit of patchouli in here, just a very, very tiny dose of patchouli. Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's way, way dialed way back. It's very soft. I think the geranium combining with the bergamot and the citrus or the lemon almost gives a little hint of like orange zest or orange mandarin, but I wouldn't say it's very mild. I mean, it's not obviously orangey or anything, but there's almost like a little bit of abstract orange in here, which I think kind of maybe is the cue that this is part of the Terre d'Hermes family DNA, along with that bergamot certainly, and the patchouli and the amber wood. So you are getting a little bit of ambery type vibes again, which is cueing back to the original Terre d'Hermes. But again, this is very, very distinct and different from the original. Now, I quite like it. I like that little orange, zesty, citrusy, bergamot type opening, along with the Szechuan pepper, the patchouli, and the amberwood, giving it a nice degree of warmth and sort of a sultry, balmy type quality, almost balsamic, along with that vetiver. The vetiver here is quite juicy, but also has little bitty dry notes of vetiver in there as well. It's a beautiful blend. There's a little bit of earthiness. There's a lot of earthiness actually in the vetiver, and there's a little bit of smokiness in the vetiver, not a lot. Okay, so it's a really, really nice smelling fragrance for sure. But I have two little soft quibbles with the fragrance. At least on my skin, guys, my skin just chews up fragrances. I have no idea why. So a lot of that juicy, citrusy opening is gone in my skin in the first 10 to 15 minutes, just absolutely gone, or mostly gone. And I should also say that the strength and sillage and just the overall effusiveness of this fragrance is nowhere near the original Terre d'Hermes, either the EDT are the EDP. I don't know if they reformulated it, but I find this to be a much weaker um, formulation. I mean, on my skin, it pretty much disappears in about 45 hours. Sure, I could probably get a hint of it on the skin after that, but I mean, it's not actively doing anything after about the fourth or at the outer limit, the fifth hour. It's really just all but gone. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that. It's a wonderful scent. Don't get me wrong. Am I really getting my money's worth? Probably not. But it is an excellent scent, having said that. But I'm not going to lie. The other day, I actually layered this with a very expensive fragrance, much more expensive than this guy, only because of scarcity, not because the house is more elite or niche. And that is Miller Harris, which I recently reviewed on my channel. Vetiver bourbon. Let me just refresh myself. What a boozy vetiver. Wow. Guys, good luck trying to source a bottle of this guy online. Minimum that I could find for a brand new box or bottle was about $385 US. So buyer beware. What an earthy, boozy vetiver. But I layered them the other day, and what a concoction. It layered with that citrus opening and that smoother. And I will mention this in closing, guys. For Terre Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver, I will say that this quite reminds me of a mashup of Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver and a Terre Hermes like Eau de Light, like a lighter version, right? If you took a lighter version with less spice, just almost less everything, more, just a weaker concoction, and you layered it with Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver, this is pretty much what you would get. Not exactly, but it gives you a pretty good approximation of what you're getting with this fragrance. It really is quite wonderful, though. So I don't know if you don't mind the idea of respritzing about every 5 to 6 hours. Now, your skin might be different. You might go the full 7 to 8 hours, and that's fantastic if you get that far. Again, my skin just chews up fragrances. And also, it's possible that by the 6th hour, 5th hour, I just may be going slightly anosmic, which means you can no longer smell a lot of the notes in this fragrance. So maybe other people are still smelling it on me, and maybe it's myself that's no longer actively smelling it. Yeah, that could be on me. So I don't mean to throw shade at the fragrance. It's wonderful. I do have some little quibbles with the fairly quick die down of the citrus component and the somewhat shorter than I would prefer longevity on skin, at least in terms of what I call active projection or scent bubble. Other than that, I think it's pretty remarkably wonderful. I just wish it had a little more gravitas that the original has. I find that the original is just so incredibly sexy, classy. It almost wears you if you're not careful. It's that powerful, that magnetic. And yeah, at any rate, pardon me, I just got a little itch. Okay, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Thanks for joining me here again, Carlos and company. I'll see you guys in the near future. Spray often, spray well. Live life on your terms, not someone else's. Love you guys. Peace out. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please click the bell and subscribe for future updates. And I'm definitely open to requests, matchups, subject. And we can talk about any subject relating to perfumery and fragcom. So until then, thank you so much. Hasta la próxima vez. Be well. Love you guys. Peace out.